Cottman, Crawford, and the Jersey Guy podcast.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? It's Kenny Cottman.
Lewis Crawford.
And I'm Tom Remage, the Jersey Guy.
Yeah. So, this is going to be take two of our first day back. Yeah, it was a FUBAR, but it's all good. Feeling good now. We fixed it, so we're good
Figured
to go.
it out.
Yes.
Yep. So then with that,
Technical difficulties.
Yes.
Sorry. Please stand by. We are having technical difficulties.
yes,
We appreciate your patience.
Lewis Crawford.
Lewis Crawford.
Yes. So how was your holiday?
Was there a holiday this weekend?
No, man, because this is now the
Oh, we're
episode
doing it
from
over. I forgot. Yeah, because I screwed up.
Yeah. How was your holiday?
It was good.
Good.
It was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yours? Everybody was
Freaking
good.
awesome. Yeah, I had a good one. Tom?
Yeah, mine was good. Had some company over for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. We did all the gifts. My son got everything he wanted.
Yeah.
My
Santa Claus is
grandkids
the
got all
man. I love me some Santa Claus. Well, not like that. That sounded kind of, I love me Mrs.
I
Claus.
love me some Santa Claus.
Yeah, Santa Claus. He's real. I swear. So good. So good.
It's all good. It's right.
Yes. But then, so for tonight's show, we're talking about depression.
Yes, we are.
Coming out of these holidays, people understand and know, what just being depressed, sad. There are some people who just don't always feel it, and for whatever reason, it's the winter time.
Right. And more so this time of the year, too.
Yeah, the time of the year is just, Christmas, all of the Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa.
Right. And lack of vitamin D.
Lack of vitamin D because I'm not
also
out in
you
the
get-
sun and stuff.
You get that seasonal affective disorder.
Yep. Yeah.
And if you were already in that mindset, that just adds insult to injury. And of course, you're on a downslope.
Yep.
Which is kind of how I was when this thing crashed the other night.
Yeah, I know you bugged out.
I was super crashed big time. But yeah, so depression. It's worldwide, 280 million people a year.
Right.
What probably goes up higher. I'd like to see it obviously go lower. That would be a lot nicer.
That are diagnosed with depression?
That have
really?
depression, yeah.
Okay.
280 million. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
And, I think a lot of it has to do with what's going on. What can go on during the world. Like, I'm sure that number might have been higher in 2020 or 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in the United States, of course.
Yeah.
But think about what's going on in other countries that we don't have going on here, that they struggle with, that we have no clue about, you know what I mean? That we take for granted.
Right.
So
Big time.
Third world countries, things of that nature, people who are trying to get into another country. I mean, that's got to be depressing within itself.
Well, and it's just anybody, I think. Anything can be a trigger to just make you feel, sad. Stresses at work, stresses at home, just your car, traffic, whatever it was at that moment, it could just be that trigger. Family members, we all know family members are good for doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they are. They
Annoying the hell out of you. It's like,
absolutely.
and you get it, and it's, tired, disrupted sleep, loss of appetite, low energy, that when it gets to a point, it's just thoughts of suicide. You're just trying to find a way out because you just don't have any relief.
Right.
And like we said, this time of the year, it's not like you can just pick up and go outside.
Right.
You're sitting in the house, you're stuck. Yeah, it's fun to, for some of us to binge a bunch of shows or movies or what have you. But, other
Just do
people
that for so long.
Right, exactly. And you just don't want to go anywhere because it's too cold out. Like I said, outside. And
Right.
it said some people just don't, there's no place to go. They feel like there's no place to go. Call a friend or whatever to try to, get out of that. That's, I tell my people, it's like, yo, call me up, talk, hang out.
You've always been good that way with me too, and vice versa.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Tanya did it to me the other night. It was actually the night that I got that stupid bug.
Right.
And she was like, talk to me because I can say something's wrong, and I just crashed, and I was trying to get myself back and just thinking positive about redoing this and everything. I think because we did but it is what it is. We're here, we're doing it again, and it's just going to be just as good as the first one.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But, but the sadness, right? Irritable, sadness.
Right. Mm-hmm.
The empty feeling, the guilt,
Yeah.
because now you start thinking, oh, is it me? Did I do something? And even if that's the case, but it should still not, you don't let that get you to that spot or that place that you don't want to get to, because that's a bad place to be when you start thinking like that.
Yeah.
And again, like we spoke the other night, not to interrupt, but I was saying the other night is you have to, which I have done, you need to think about those other people, because what you're doing is that, okay, you're taking away your pain, but you're giving it to everybody else now.
Well, that's what suicide is, right?
You're giving right, exactly. If you think in that way and you decide to go through something like that, in a sense, it is a selfish move, but at the same time, it's understandable why, because of where they were, what was going on, and so you're not obviously blaming them, but in a sense, though, you're really just moving it from one place to the other. Now you're just giving it to other people, and now they have to deal with it and try to figure out why. I don't understand. Did I do something? Or, why didn't he talk to me? I was with him the other day. Or, that kind of shit.
Right.
It's crazy.
And you know what's a word? Someone pointed this out to me. Is people say commit suicide, and something language. To me, I'm always big into language, and I tried to say use right words and right wording, and actually commit means like to do a crime. Or a sin if you're religious, but like I think it's better to say the act of suicide, than say commit, because that's like, oh, you committed a crime. You know what I mean? So
well, technically it is.
It is,
yeah. But yes, I get what you're saying.
Because there's a lot more going in. It's not like look at the person as if like, oh, they're bad. For someone to go through with that, they got to be in immense fucking pain.
Yeah, right.
So I stopped saying commit. I say the act of suicide, or they killed themselves.
Right.
And I think the worst part too is because this is what a friend of mine did. I don't want to say his name, but he planned it out.
Right. Yeah.
He was methodical about it. He put his stuff away. He set everything up. He wrote a note. He went to wherever he was going to do it, and he did it.
Well, that's the thing too. A lot of people don't realize is if you see someone that's really, really depressed and they're down the dumps, and all of a sudden they're not anymore.
That's a sign.
Times like it's hard to tell because maybe they're not depressed anymore. But sometimes it's like people like they found the way out and now they're happy.
Right.
It's kind of weird. I remember there was this documentary I watched a while ago. I think it was called The Bridge or something like that. It was about the Golden Gate Bridge. It's like people I forget what the amount of people that have actually jumped off the bridge. And they showed, they had some actual footage, and this guy was like on his cell phone and hung up the cell phone and just like climbed the edge and jumped in. Like, whoa. He wasn't like, you were expecting someone to be able to like walk it over.
Yeah.
This guy was just like on the phone. And he just like hung up the phone and he just like sat and jumped in.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. His mind was already made up.
Yeah.
He already knew what he was doing, what he planned to do. And that when you get to that point, which, man, that's a bad place.
Yeah,
man.
Like that.
Because now that's a place where you're like, well, nothing can fix what's going on with me right now or whatever's happening in my life or whatever. And you know what? Well, I can't do this anymore, so I'm out. Right. See you. Yeah. I'm done.
That's crazy, dude. I just, but I'm that guy too. I can talk to anybody. And I'm not gonna say I don't have my downs, my moments, I guess, my downtime or whatever you want to call it. But I don't think I could ever get to that point. You know what I mean? That I've been able to fix, I guess we'll say, in my own head and deal with my own stuff. I mean, when I was a kid, there was a moment that I was like, but other than that, like I just don't see that, and like you started to say before, Lou, it's, I guess I was thinking more about what it would do to my friends and or family, that I was cool with, that, what I'm taking away. I'm a firm believer that I'm here and I've made the friends that I've made and I'm cool with the family that I'm cool with for a reason. Like I'm here for a reason. It's not to sound super religious, or spiritual or whatever. Just I'm here to make, just to be that positive energy, I guess.
I heard a good expression the other day. I was watching something and this gentleman was talking about how we all have our own footprint.
Right. Mm-hmm.
We leave our mark here. And even though we're gone a long time from wherever it's going to be, that footprint's going to be here. You left that impression. You added your contribution or whatever it might be in life. Yeah. And so that,
Yeah.
So that I think that's a good way to,
I think so. But I mean, that's how I look at it. Because, I just feel like I said that, it could be that one thing that I've said that, you're sitting in the car and you're frustrated from driving and you're just like, that was a funny that Kenny said. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's what I hope to do. Even with my kids, like, I make fun with them sometimes. And, I just hope that I've said something about anything that just gets them through the day. I text them all every morning.
Right.
Just say, hey, I love you guys, to each individual. I love you, have a great day, talk to you later or whatever. Just to hope that if they woke up in a funky mood, that they're gonna, that all right, cool. At least dad was thinking about me or whatever, or,
That's very nice.
Just to have a nice day, because I am also a firm believer that pay it forward. You know what I mean? So, because you never know who's going through whatever.
No, it's
and
true.
It could just be that kind word. And, that just makes somebody just get out of that funk.
Right. Right. It could be that one gesture you did.
Yeah.
Even holding a door for somebody, not even knowing that person. It could be anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'll be walking through the store, and as soon as I make eye contact with somebody, I always say good morning. Because I never want it to be an awkward thing. It doesn't matter who it is, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I always hold the door for somebody, So I think those things, those little things are what make the difference, you know? And
that's what, is contributes to, I guess, just our social outlook, to how everybody should be, be kind to one another. Everybody just, if everybody's nice to each other,
right.
I believe that there would be less depression, and just being down in the dumps, that's, and not trying to even think positive, or you just being funky to somebody. That's the contribution to, to their psyche, to, to their biological, to their, just how they are, that's taken away from them, I guess, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because then it could be unemployment. It could be, I did this last time in the last one.
Yeah, see, can't tell you nothing.
If someone passes away, things like that, you know, or any traumatic event in their life. I said, and like you said, if you do that nice thing, hopefully, if everybody's nice to each other. But again, what I said last time was, we all have our own pain. We don't know what each other's going through.
Exactly.
Right. So everybody's pain is their pain, regardless if that other person may have had a more traumatic life or something happened in life. There's no comparison.
Right.
No one's feeling what you're feeling. And what is that, the expression? Oh, if you walked in my shoes for a day, you would understand, kind of thing. And I think when you kind of battle with depression a little bit, you start to understand that a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but that's that you used empathy.
Yes.
That's empathy right there. Just to know, try to understand what it is to be in somebody's shoes. Because, again, can't emphasize this enough. You never know what somebody else is going through, Yeah. The one thing, like, say, so like for me, I would lose my mind if, I didn't have a freaking piece of meat this week. You know what I mean? Like, God, I need a piece of meat, But, for you, that's what it's at. I'm good.
Yeah.
A little bit on the funky side.
I think you'd be fine. I don't think you would be that crazy.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, it's just, it's something that's minuscule. Yeah.
I get it.
But like driving, people, when I drive, they get me so worked up when I'm, driving behind somebody that, I'm depressed, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I'm anxious.
Right.
For you, you're like, it's okay. It's no big deal.
Oh, hey, I get like that too when I'm driving.
Well,
too,
no, I'm just saying.
But you're a little bit more of a lead foot, and you're like, this fuck better move. Get the hell out of the way. Get out of the left lane for crying out loud.
No,
it's crazy.
Yeah, but it's just the thing. You have to make the situations in your life, try to make them better. Yes, I know it's easier said than done, but that's when you reach out. And you had said before, Tom, it was if you dial 988, it's a suicide crisis.
988 is suicide and crisis hotline. It's kind of like 911. You just dial 988, and it could be from any phone, and just it's kind of like a crisis hotline. It's
and if you
streamline
the national. Like a national.
That's a great. I didn't know that until you brought it up. Man. Yeah, that's fantastic. So
I didn't know it was that kind of quick.
Yeah, that's great.
because I mean I've heard suicide hotline and such like that. I've heard that.
But now it's like a pandemic now. I mean it's just it's rampant. Like how many times you see somebody so young or whatever. Sometimes it's an older person. You know what I mean? But it's just like
and the bullying, because even with these kids, these young kids, they just feel like they
especially with social media.
Yeah, bro. And it's like, come on, it's not like when we were kids, bullying, whatever, you got into a fist fight, you took a couple of jokes and you kept it moving. Now it's to the point where, because I believe of social media.
Yeah, because in the past, if you were bullied in school, going home was your refuge.
Right.
But now with social media, it's like the bullying fucking continues.
It continues,
it's worse.
right.
Sometimes it's worse that it's worse online than it is in person.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because everybody knows that. And when you're a kid, that's like the worst thing. And we know that. We went through it, but it was different for us.
Right.
And everybody sees it. Like, if someone says something to someone, they laugh, everybody laughs, ha ha, at your expense. But like when it's on social media, like it lingers.
Yeah, because you can't go anywhere.
It's there.
Yeah.
It's not.
You can't hide it.
Yeah. And if it's something really wild, now you've gone viral. You know what I'm saying? And everybody and people sees you.
Are fucking cruel, man.
Yeah.
And they're, like we were saying before, you get people who are just the dicks.
Yeah.
And they don't get it, and they get off on doing it, and they enjoy it. And those people, unfortunately, obviously they're weaker than everybody else because they got to do that to feel good about themselves.
Exactly, because they're going. But then that's a good point too, because that's them going through their thing, and they're projecting. They're taking it out on other people. He's like, yeah, no,
no. I agree. That makes sense totally. But when they're like that all the time, you're like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not
because there's only so much you can put up with.
Right. I mean, you get to a certain point, you're like, enough with this person, because maybe they are, but you know what? They're not reaching out the way they should be or at least try to go about it a different way. But some people do. People are just mean and thrive off of it, and they like it. You know what? Or that's just who they are. You know what I mean? It's just. Unfortunately, you're born with whatever or what your upbringing was or what's going on in your life. I'm not saying it makes it right.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Yeah. But then that's when people need to go for therapy.
Right.
If you're the bully, maybe you do need to go and talk to someone, to get off your chest.
Yeah, it's like the saying, hurt people.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
True. Yeah, because
happy people don't bully.
Yeah, no.
No, it's true. You're right.
Well, see, now I'm
insecure people do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. For sure. Yeah, and
and they need their little posse with them usually.
Right. Yeah, the little clique. Yeah, and like, yeah, that was funny, Bob. And you're like, yeah, whatever, man. And that's why I think everybody. Well, I'm not saying everybody needs it. I'm just saying that everybody should. If your therapy can just be going outside, exercise, going for walks, bike rides, talking to friends, just getting together, like for us, this is therapy for us as far as
absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because, this is before we start the show and after we do the show, we're laughing, we're making funnies about whatever, quick vent session about whatever's going on with us, whether, work or personal and whatnot, because it's usually just the three of us down here. Yeah. So this is, and even if it's something that we don't share here, that we have another friend or a family member that we end up talking to, we get out and we, I said, is being able to vent. It's keeping busy, finding something to do, not staying in the same the same routine.
Right. Don't stay still.
Yeah.
Keep moving. Either your mind or your body or both.
Yeah, or both. And it's not about just staying at home and just watching TV. Whether you're reading a book, try to go outside to read a book. Yeah, I know if it's cold outside or whatever, but
or journal.
Or journal, yeah. Oh, dude, that's a good one. I didn't even think about
I do
journal.
it. I do it. I did it the other night. So as a matter of fact, when I was at the night before, we went to a friend's house the night before New Year's Eve. It was the eve of New Year's Eve,
right?
And he was like, "Oh, I said I was downstairs, and the girls were doing their thing because Tanya had that party for the, for the cookie swap and everything, right? And they were all up there, and it sounded like freaking like they were going to go through the floor. I said I had the game on, I had the radio on, and I was just writing stuff. He was like, "What do you mean writing?"
Yeah,
I'm like, just writing. Yeah, just writing, just how I feel, what's going on, and just letting it out, just writing. He's like, "So what do you do with it?" I said, "Sometimes I'll rip it up.
Yeah,
well, I'll just leave it. I won't look at it again. Maybe I'll read it and just leave it. And now I'm done. I got it out. I just needed to it doesn't matter what I write or what I say. It's the fact that you're getting it out and you're writing it down, you know, and then they tell you should just kind of discard it.
Really?
And get rid of it. Yeah, because now you're like, all right, I got it out. I said what I wanted to say. And then
no point.
I guess that's
linker.
Yeah, right. Why, you know, beat it. What's the expression? Beat a dead horse to death. Is that the correct expression?
Yeah,
I think
that's why I never thought about. I thought it would be to keep it. You know, have it in.
Well,
there
I guess if you have a diary,
then
be the same thing. I guess.
That's what I was asking. I was gonna say that too. Isn't a diary the same thing? Because I mean, like for me, that would be something like, wow, you know, I've overcome that. You know, but I don't know. I've never written a journal.
Yeah,
you know, nothing like, you know, that it was a school thing. You know?
Yeah,
right. But I've never done it where for me, you know. But that's not a bad one. That's a pretty good hobby, I guess, too. You know, a journal, and this way, I guess the way I'm saying it, that you can go back and if you even decide you want to go back to just read it and know how you got through that day.
Right.
You know
that
what I mean?
could always be helpful too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess there's two sides to that coin.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, another thing I think is important too. This is more not for the someone else to is to you know, I'm trying to get a little bit better at it. Is checking in with people. You know, it goes a long way.
Yeah,
you know,
you don't do that enough for me, Tom. I'm just saying.
Yeah, dude.
You know, you call up, you say, you know, especially if you know someone who, like, maybe recently they lost someone, you know, someone died or whatever, they lost a family member, and you know, it's funny because when people lose, you know, when there's a death in the family or a close friend, it's like always like in the beginning, everybody's like, oh, it's everything, and then kind of like. It only lasts like a week, and then kind of, you know, people just move on with their lives and people forget. So it's always good to like check in with people like weeks later, be like, hey, you know, how you doing? You know, like, and it goes a long way, you know.
Especially if it's someone they don't expect to reach out to them.
Yes, that's exactly what.
And that's even
a
bigger deal too.
I have a friend who's, because I do a big, you know, I do the big TikTok thing. I haven't done in a while. I told him, I said, you know, I'm just kind of getting burnt out from it. I'm taking a break. And one of my friends, she just recently you know, there's like a group of our friends. We're in like a group chat. She's like randomly messaged me. She's like, oh, just, you know, check it in. Actually, when I was driving up here Friday, she messaged me on WhatsApp because she's from the UK. So, you know, it's easier to use WhatsApp. And she's like, oh, just check it in, see how you're doing. You know, it goes a long way when you think about that. So I try to remember to do that to other people, but I usually forget just because my fucking brain is.
Well, I don't forget, but I'm just bad with it. You know, I guess, forget it. Yeah, I'm with you. That makes sense. You know,
my brain is,
dude. Yeah, I've got so many people.
Like,
it's just
was someone I wasn't expecting to hear back. I was like, oh wow, that's really nice. Just the act of like, just means it means a lot.
Yeah. It's nice when you get it from someone that you normally hear from, but when it's somebody from the norm, it's like, wow, that was really good. Kind of like when my daughter called me on Christmas Eve, and then my friend called me at the same time, and I was like, wow, that was nice because I didn't expect my daughter to. Well, I knew she was gonna, but I didn't know if but it came out. And then my best friend called me from Florida. That was really great too. We were FaceTiming each other. That was awesome, you know, because you don't really talk that often. But it's great because no matter, it's like with us, you know, even though we may not see each other, it's the same when we see each other. Yeah. Like even though there might be some time lapse between, it's like we've never been apart kind of thing. And that's how it is with my friend Frankie. Yeah. You know, it's like, you know. Two assholes getting together.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Because so I have two younger brothers. Excuse me, and one of them, he's right here in Poughkeepsie, but he works so much, and our schedules never. You know, it's usually hard. I miss his ass. I'm not gonna say different.
That's great though.
But it's just, you know, we don't get to talk as often, and because we don't get to talk, you know, when we finally do get up, it's like maybe once or twice a year if we're lucky. You know, because it's just, that's how busy either one of us are. Right. But it's like, the point was that, you know, we can just pretty much continue where we left off kind of thing, you know? You know, we could be angry at each other for whatever, and it's just like, yeah, whatever, you're a dick. You're an asshole. So what's going on, bro? I love you, man. Yeah, all right, cool. I love you too, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And it's just, you know, and like I said, but I'm with you, Tom, 1,000,000%, bro. It is, a lot of people that we should reach out to just because you never know. You know, and we're thinking of that person, most of the time they're thinking about you. Like that's the spiritual connection. You know what I mean?
Hey, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like we said the last time, whatever works for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right. Hey, you know, you know, whatever you need to help you or whatever. But it's good. You were saying that about your brother because the same thing happened with my brother and I. We weren't working for a while.
Right.
And then we did. And now we're like talking every other week or whatever. And, and he's a good example because he just went through all this.
Right.
He crashed. He had panic attacks. He wound up, Mike, don't get me that I'm talking about this on the podcast.
Yeah.
It's too late, bro.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it was a good example because he was bugging out.
Right.
And he was having a hard time. And obviously he never experienced that before. And he got through it and he finally got to where he wanted to be. And he was having that problem at work because people were being assholes.
Right.
And it just contributed to everything. And he had to go through whatever he needed to get to where he is now. And I guess that's a positive thing too. I think if we can try to hang in there a little bit longer, do like we said, reach out to someone, do the other things, just don't give up. Don't think about it first. Even if it's that split second, just think about it. What do you think, Tom? No,
I agree.
Right? Have you ever gotten at a point in your life that you can remember where you felt that way, or you just never really dealt with it kind of like that?
Like suicide, right? Yeah.
No. I meant just depression. Just depression. I mean, unfortunately, suicide is the last resort of depression.
I've dealt with depression before, especially as a kid. I was really my parents. I was going to group therapy when I was like 15. I was really depressed, but when you're a kid, you don't recognize what it is. You don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So I just I don't know. It's just bummy, and I ended up being depression because my parents had divorced and stuff like that, and it's a tough time. It's always tough for kids. Even at 15 years old, it's it's tough.
And anger kicks in too.
Yeah, of course.
Oh yeah, you get a little outburst. Well, it's tough to identify because I was 15, so I was still to puberty, so a little testosterone spikes. Yeah. I remember my mom was yelling at me. Thank God it was nothing horrible, but I remember my mom yelling at me and I threw a pillow at her face or something.
Yeah,
damn. I would have been.
And you're here to tell the tale.
Yeah, because
holy shit. Yeah,
but it was I get those.
Yeah, no, dude. Listen, I don't know. I'll let you feel this knot right here. When I had that kind of moment, my mom was like, "No, motherfucker, I don't think so."
Oh yeah, and my mom was a lefty.
Yeah,
so you always forgot, and it always came. She got you
into it.
After the second after I did that, I realized I fucked up.
Yeah, that's usually when it happens. Yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah.
What did I just do? Because you when you're in that rage mode, I mean, I know that I don't know if you really see red, but you're not you just react it's just primal. You're you're not even thinking.
Not at all.
Right.
Doing.
Right. And that's one of the things too, with depression, that you just can't even control yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Your emotions are just, through the roof or, 6 feet under. You just
right. It's just going. It's like a reel.
Yeah.
Just keep playing and playing.
And that's what contributes to, I believe that's one of the things that contributes to your depression. You know what I mean? To those thoughts, to those feelings,
right.
Because you can't control yourself, and then now that you're even saying that, Tom, I guess it does make sense. Here you are at 15, well, just in your mid-teens, and puberty's kicking you in the ass, and
troubles at home.
Yeah, because there's somebody that you're fond of, and that person isn't feeling you, or they're not giving you that same kind of attention. You know what I mean? And that's a heartbreaker too. It's just. There's just so many things. And I think that, again, to just say to people, find that outlet, find an outlet, go and talk to somebody, get out. They said, whether it's exercising or just being out of the house, just go and do something that, just to get your mind off of all the bad, just. Right. Just anything, man, and it's from anything, traumatic events are quick, fast to kick you in the nards, and you're down and you feel like you can't get out of it, but that's when you get up, you go out, you do something, you find a hobby, something that's gonna get a pet, if you can deal with a pet.
Best therapists in the world. I got 3 of them upstairs.
Yeah, exactly. I
love them.
Yeah, my son has a tarantula now.
Okay, hey, whatever works. You know what I'm saying?
I was like, bro, a tarantula.
Won't be going over there.
Yeah, no, we were telling. Yeah,
Home Alone.
Yeah, Home Alone. Yeah, exactly. That was good tone too, bro. Yeah, but that's what it is. And see, like you said, here we are. That it was the holidays. We were, people, a couple of us were feeling kind of funky or whatever, and that we can sit here and laugh and be able to just even to speak on it. It shows that we have either each other and or somebody that we can release, vent to.
Right. And you had mentioned the last time. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
You mentioned last time, if you can't get the number, go to your police station, go to your fire department, go to your ambulance.
Yes. Do not
find somebody.
Find somebody. Do not hurt yourself.
Right.
Go and find help. You'd be surprised as to how many places are willing and look to help. They want to help.
And they will do it at the top of a dime. They'll do it immediately. Even if you walk into your urgent care.
Yeah.
What's the first thing they ask you now when you're in urgent care? How do you feel today? Now that's a thing on your thing now, right? It's on the wall. Yeah, if you look at it, you'll see it. So how are you feeling today? And it has 10 faces.
The faces. Yeah, that's
But it'll ask you sometimes, like when you're filling out some information, I guess maybe if it's a new doctor or something, I don't know. And how do you feel? Have you been feeling depressed? Right. Have you had any feelings of suicide? But so now they're taking it much more seriously now. I think the hard thing is that you need to know the signs. Well, motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's hard to do.
Yeah, it's hard to
because I can tell you right now, I've been depressed. Give me 1 second, Dom. I've been depressed, and I bet you I've been depressed, and my wife's never known it. And I was totally fine, laughing, joking around, but inside, I was a freaking wreck.
Yeah.
I just didn't feel like me. I just didn't feel good at all. Like I was something was going on, but on the outside, look, Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Just people in general. They got all this, they put up the facade, what I mean? And then, and then that's, and that's the thing. I think it's got to probably be that one little thing that's out of the norm that you wouldn't normally see.
Right.
Like if they're doing that and you're like, wait a minute, that just didn't seem right. I'm going to have to talk with that person, or hopefully it will click with somebody, or somebody will, go, hey, we were at so-and-so. He seemed fine, but he said that one thing, and that just did not ring well with me, and I didn't like it. I felt uncomfortable, felt like something was wrong kind of thing. And I guess that's what we're looking, I guess that's the sign, or one of the signs that we need to pay attention to.
Definitely, yeah. And to ourselves, for ourselves. What were you going to say, Tom?
Yeah, sorry, I cut you off.
No, I was only just agreeing with you. I was saying, like, like when I was like 15, like I didn't know what depression was.
Right.
I didn't know what it. Yeah, I just thought I was just feeling shitty. Like I didn't know. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Well, when you're a kid, when you recognize it, it's easier to deal with. Like, and one of the things, I mean, I was going to get the medical license for cannabis. But I decided that they opened up adult recreational, so I never bought it because I don't want to pay $100 and then $50 to fee, for filing fees and all that shit. So I was like, oh, it's open up recreational, and I was feeling down. I said, I'm gonna try some of this, and it like instant, it
worked for you. That's good.
Yeah. But I recognized it and I did something about it.
Right. I think I remember you telling me about that.
Just. You recognize it and you do something about it. Whether maybe I could have done a approach, using a substance approach, and I could have, I don't know, maybe went for a walk or something. But you
know what?
If I know something's gonna work,
yeah, you got to try it. But and meds are a hard thing because the meds that are made at a lab, it's hard. Like I remember when my daughter was going through it, she had multiple different things that she had to go through, and she had it hard. My daughter just. With her mother and everything, and then she was depressed. She was manic. She was a bunch of stuff.
Right.
Meds have a lot of side
and the
effects.
meds are hard because you have to keep trying until you get the one that makes you feel where you're. And if you get lucky and you get it the first time, that's awesome. You just hit the fucking lottery.
Right.
But if you're not, you're going to do it 2, 3, 4 times before you actually get to it. And that itself has got to be depressing. And frustrating at the same time because you're like, I'm trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Nothing's working.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So alcohol comes in, drugs come in, things like that.
Yeah.
I think with cannabis, though, they're finding out so much now that they can kind of pretty much do anything with it. They can make it where it helps for so many different things. Sleep, tinnitus, all that. That's nuts.
What the hell?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
But, the thing with medication, though, is, a lot of them have side effects. I just had a friend, I won't say his name, I was just talking to him the other today. He was on Zoloft for 2 years, and it was really it fucked with his libido big time.
Oh, I bet.
And he finally went off, and he said it was the greatest.
Yeah.
For his libido,
But now here's the question, though. Yeah. So now, the idea on some of the meds, if I understood correctly a while back when I've heard this, is that you're on the meds to help you stay even, right? And then the idea is for you to be able to now work on your skills.
Yeah.
So this way things don't trigger you the way that they used to. So then you won't need the meds.
Right, so you can cope with things differently and better and all that.
I'm not saying in every case, but, so then if he took the meds and now he's even, now that he's able to cope with things, and that now he's up and now he's got a routine, if you will, to go places and do things and talk to friends and such, that might be it. Because like you're saying too, Lou, meds are, they're addicting. Some people do need them because it's just, some people just, their chemicals,
they're off balance. Yeah, absolutely.
They're out of it, and they don't even know it. Doctors can't even find it, and it sucks because it messes with, like you said, it messes with some of the libido, and you're like, dag nabbit,
and that could be depressing. On top of it,
depressing on top of that. So that then it's like you said, Lou, how many different meds do you mess with before you, you find that right one, and
exactly,
it's
and that's
just crazy.
And then, and you could tell a person. My daughter was going through all that stuff. And my daughter and I just talked about this. You could say it to a person 100 times until that one thing in their head or inside of them says, okay,
right,
I got it. I know what I need to do. Right. Whatever it is they heard, saw, needed to hear, but no one was actually telling it to them.
Exactly.
That kind of thing. And it just like clicks and they're like, okay, I'm done doing this.
Yeah. It's the words.
Right.
Like Tom was saying, commit.
Right. Something clicks.
Just it's that one thing,
Right.
Like I used to smoke cigarettes and it was just, I was like, I'll quit. I quit. I probably tried to quit 2 or 3 times, maybe not really trying to quit. And then one day it's just like, I coughed up a loogie, like, I'm done. And that was it. You know what I'm saying? And that's that one thing that I was like, I don't need this anymore. Yep. I don't, once in a while now, I'm like, I need a cigarette. I'm gonna have a cigarette. But
I don't even think about it no more. Cigarettes. I'm so glad I stopped smoking. It's gonna be almost 30 years without a cigarette
30?
for me.
Wow.
Bro.
That shit is like a huge accomplishment. And I'm so happy I did that. I hate, you ever have a dream that you were smoking and you wake up and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, like
it was a dream. It was a dream. Thank God. I just threw fucking 30 years down the drain. Oh my God.
You know what's funny? What ends up happening a lot of the time? Someone will quit smoking. And there were several times I'd quit smoking myself until I finally quit smoking. But you quit buying. You become the biggest fucking mooch. You're like, I'm making a cigarette,
Right, you mooch off everybody.
People are like, just fucking buy the pack, would you? Then I started smoking again. But then I just you can't, because that's what happens. You hang out with smokers. You're like, oh, let me get one.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're,
I quit when I quit smoking. When I finally did it. Yeah. I did it, and I stopped drinking. Because every time I quit, I went to a bar, I had a drink, I wound up having a cigarette. See? So I realized, okay, if I'm going to quit, I can't drink. So I would go to the bar, I would get a club and cranberry and just hang and just do that and I would be fine. And that's then funny. I got through the first year. I said, if I can get 1 year, if I can get the 1 year in, I'm home free from there. Once I'm, and I was. Started getting back into working out and doing all that stuff. And
and that's what it is that you need. Did you ever smoke, Tom?
Yeah.
Cigarettes?
Yeah.
He would bum a lot. When I first met him, he never smoked, but if he was around people, let me get a cigarette.
Really?
But then I just decided to stop completely.
Yeah, no. See, I started when I quit smoking.
I was doing the social smoker thing,
Oh, yeah. See,
right.
Yeah, no. I was an official smoker. Then I went to vaping after that, that one day I was like, I'm good. And then one day I was like, the missus was like, you need to cut it out. I'm like, whatever. And I was done. I was bored with it now. Right. Like, I didn't even need it, but now did you get depressed
No, I didn't, because I totally went into the physical mode. Okay. Started getting back into shape and doing all that other stuff.
I did the same thing. I quit smoking the time when I started. One of the times I started going to the gym. I quit smoking the same time.
I bought the total. My mother got me the total gym. I started working out and that all the time. I did that for a long time.
I think it helps to replace a bad habit with a good habit. So I kind of worked that way. Like I started going to the gym. I was like, oh, you know what? I'm doing the healthy thing. Let me try to quit smoking. And I don't know. I think you're in that headspace, like doing healthy stuff.
But see, but I think that's why I say
that's the addiction part.
Yeah, exactly. And again, that's where
depression comes in. Right.
And
there's always a link to it.
Yes, there's always something, some way, somehow. It's just one big funky, fucked up, bitch ass loop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like,
you're just like, you son of a bitch. This was I'm good with because But again, I guess just that everybody just needs to find their niche,
and sometimes it's hard for people to do that.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. So we have to just. I don't, everybody who listens, like the millions of listeners,
our
and
listeners,
that we have.
Thank you so much.
Just always know that there is somebody.
Right.
We threw some funnies in there tonight.
Which is
try
good.
to break it up because we just want everybody to understand. We're not saying we understand and know everybody's issues and then we're trying to solve it. We just want people to understand and know that there is somebody there to help. There's always, I said, like Tom brought up the, 988 suicide helpline. I think the other, it was like, there's just all kind of suicide helplines. Go to the police department, like you said, Lou, the fire department, go to the hospital, go and look for help.
Right.
Don't just try to take on what you're feeling at that moment is the pressures of the world. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to keep all that stuff to yourself because that's the stress. And if you get to that point where you're thinking about committing suicide, that's too far already.
Right.
And there's friends and family that care about you and love you to no end. And you not there is now putting them in what you're feeling. You know what I mean?
No, I get it.
Then, people need to understand. They should try to understand. What we said before, you got to walk a mile in somebody's shoes.
Right.
Maybe not that mile. Go to 5 feet. You know what I mean? Just so that this way you just listen.
Practice empathy.
Yeah,
just try to picture what it's
be
like
open
to be.
Right.
Yeah.
All day.
Right.
Because you never know. Because and that's another thing that I love. Listen. Don't just hear what I'm saying to you.
Right. Don't yes me to death kind of shit.
Because then I want to choke the shit out of you.
Right.
Don't just hear me. Listen to the things that I'm saying.
Right.
And I haven't a problem with just listening. Because I try to fix everybody's issues. Wifey has told me that because if you just need to vent. So me turning around and trying to tell you what to do to fix your issue.
And that's what I was saying earlier.
Right. That's where the problem comes in. I promise I try. But, I just want to make everybody
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, it isn't. But at that moment, that's not what you need.
Right.
It's a skill. Active listening.
Right.
Sometimes when people have a goal in mind where they're just waiting for their turn to talk. And you got to listen to people, hear what they're saying. Sometimes, some people, it's just a skill people don't know. You're talking to someone and have a conversation with them and hear them out and listen to them and acknowledge what they're saying. Some people just wait for their turn to talk and their turn to talk. And especially if someone's talking something seriously, you don't already have my head. I got to tell them this. I got to tell them, listen, have a conversation, acknowledge what they're saying. It's important.
Yep.
Now, one more thing before we
wrap it up.
So the other thing is too, is that the one thing that's bad about depression too, and we brought this up last time, was everything else could be going really well. You could have everything's good at home, whatever it is.
Right.
And then that one thing can make all of that just not feel like any of that is good because that one thing is so dominant. That one thing is just so whatever it's doing to you in your life, and it doesn't matter if that other stuff is going on. Well, you got this, you hear people, but this is going on, and you got that. Yeah. Well, you know what? That's just not helping me right now because this is the one thing that's really fucking me up right now.
Yep.
And that stuff is not in any way overpowering that, but this is overpowering that. And I guess, again, we have the control to try to figure out and balance that out at some point. And I think you also get to a point too, which is where I'm getting now, is where I'm getting to the point where I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Now I'm at 56. I'm going to be 57. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to allow you to live in my head.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that's going on, or that thing, or whatever. I'm just not going to let it. I'm not going to let it happen more. And then you got to just keep telling yourself, you know what? You don't need. You don't have to deal with this. There's other things.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You've done it before. You've been through shit before. You'll figure it out. Some people, it's a little harder, so they need a little bit more help, or maybe a lot more help, depending on who the individual is.
Yeah. Yep.
You know?
Yep. Well,
so
that's our time for today. You know, so appreciate you guys, for all of us, for sharing, because sharing is caring, you know.
It is.
And,
yes,
you know, just so that, you know, all of us know and understand, you know, just that we all need to do better, period. You know,
right.
And look out for your fellow man, you know, your brother, your sisters, you know, just, you know, always just be there. Try to be kind to people, and the world would be a better place. Just saying.
100%.
I totally agree.
Yes. So,
well said, my friend. Well said.
Why, thank you. I have those moments sometimes, bro. And once in a while, like, oh shit, can you sound educated? But so, thank you everybody for listening. Appreciate. Follow. Send comments. CC and the Jersey Guy at gmail.com. Send us your comments. Please follow us. Please.
Like us.
Yeah.
All that good stuff.
All that other good stuff. You know.
Like, subscribe.
Yes, subscribe. That too. Yeah. If it's on there, do it. Yeah.
And now that we figured out our technical difficulties, we know exactly what we need to do from this point on, so we don't have that happen again.
Yep. So thank you all for listening. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. Appreciate you guys. And love, peace, and hair grease.
Live long and prosper.
And go vegan.
Holla.